Dear Latino people, I come before you today to tell you that they will never choose you. You're not white. You're not white. And they will never choose you. No matter how hard you try to assimilate, and no matter how deeply you thought you assimilated, I am here to tell you that they will never choose you because you're not white. Want to talk about it? Here you go. Guys, so you can't escape the ICE raids and some of the Hispanic and Latino communities' regret surrounding their vote around Donald Trump. And today on my feed, I saw a video of a South Florida young Hispanic young lady who voted for Donald Trump, and now her terminally ill father has been detained, and she's crying and pleading for help, so on and so forth. And it's so hard for a lot of people to have compassion for people in these situations, because Donald Trump from day one showed us his capacity to be mean and cruel to people who he, deemed undesirable for whatever reason. And it's baffling to me that so many of you guys were all right with it just as long as it wasn't you. You are all right with these moral human rights violations. You were all right with the soft bigotry, the hard bigotry, the veiled racism, the overt racism. You were all right with it as long as you thought you were exempt, right? That's got to be something. Don't go all the way to the top with y'all's elevator. The other thing that is baffling to me is that Donald Trump showed the world what he felt about Hispanic people from the very beginning, okay? And I know I don't understand everything about the Latin American diaspora, and I don't claim to. And while I know that, you've got Cubans and Venezuelans and Mexicans and Guatemalans and and everybody has their own culture. America view y'all all as one. That's a separation that y'all make. America view y'all all as one. In Miami, we call it Spanish, okay? We don't delineate Guatemalan, Cuban, Puerto Rican, bitch, all that Spanish. And yes, it's ignorant. Spanish people are from Spain, but I'm just telling you how we see it, okay? If you speak Spanish, your whole race is Spanish. That is how America views you, okay? They lump all of y'all ass in one basket. And for the life of me, I'm not understanding how you thought that this was going to represent your whole community and that he was just going to take this little piece out and it wasn't going to impact the rest of y'all. But what's even more sad is the fact that y'all were all right with it. He said he's only going to get the undocumented ones. He said he's only going to get the criminals. Let's start with the coming to the country the right way. Coming to the country the right way. He was going to get... I'm finna ruffle some feathers here. most of y'all, if y'all go back a couple generations, your people came over here undocumented. Not all, okay? And here is the other thing. I'm not even deeply entrenched in the Latino community, but just being a black boy growing up in Carroll City who had Cuban neighbors and other neighbors of Hispanic descent, I know enough to know that while my neighbor and his brother might have been born here, they auntie that be in the back room, she wasn't. And their family members that lived 3 houses down, everybody in that house was born here, but the grandfather wasn't. I might be overstepping as a black person, but I don't think I'm wrong when I say this. I believe every Spanish-speaking person in America knows somebody that's undocumented or is connected to somebody who is undocumented in one way or another. And maybe that's just my ignorance from my Miami-based experience. And if it is, I'm willing to accept that. But from my experience in the limited world that I've lived in, all of y'all know somebody undocumented and know them very intimately. You know what I'm saying? While it may not be in your family, your best friend, Mera Slesis, her abuelita is undocumented. So when the man got up and said he was going to be corralling the undocumented people and the illegals and the criminals, there was nothing that gave you pause. There was nothing that gave you pause. Me being black, not even having to worry so much about being detained by ICE. The moment he started talking all this deportation stuff, the first thing that went through my mind was, how many people who are American citizens, who are brown and speak Spanish, are going to get swept up in this? Y'all were never concerned about y'all personal safety, even as card-carrying Americans? And then it makes me ask my next question, which is, maybe the Latino community doesn't know what it looks like to be on the receiving end of veiled racism. It has to be, because I refuse to believe, and pardon the disrespect, I refuse to believe as an entire community of people that y'all are just that damn stupid. Stupid, slow, dumb, deaf, and retarded. I can't believe that about you guys as a group of people. I can't believe you're that dumb. I refuse to believe that. I don't even want to disrespect y'all like that. Maybe because y'all don't know enough about the history of what black people went through in this country, y'all couldn't see it for what it was. Every person who looks like me saw this whole setup for what it was from the beginning. And it's baffling me that y'all did not see the setup from the beginning. And I did not want to approach this from an emotional space of just preaching about anti-blackness, but it's like the proximity to whiteness that y'all want to garner has really fucked y'all. And collectively, y'all have wanted to distance yourself from black people so much, and y'all wanted to be in the good graces of white papa without realizing, baby, he look at you and he look at me the same, love. You will never have a seat at that man's table. Not for real, for real. You can serve his food. You can clean their toilets. You can do their construction. You can be their nannies. You can be their gardeners. Like, do you not know that that is what America thinks of you collectively as a whole? And somehow or another, you thought you were special. You thought you were special. And it's got to be very humbling for a lot of y'all to realize that the people who the media sold you to look down on, And baby, you on the same doggone level. And quiet as it's kept, you might even be lower. Because at least while they may hate me, some, not all, on the basis of my skin color, at least they recognize that I'm supposed to be here. At least they recognize that I'm supposed to be here and I ain't going nowhere. But you, on the other hand, they're like, oh, no, ma'am, not only do we not like you, y'all got to get y'all shit and go. To the point where we don't give a damn about your children. We don't give a damn if your children at school and you at the grocery store. We don't care who gonna pick your kids up from school. We don't care where your kids gonna go. We don't care that your kids don't have nobody else. Your ass going to an ICE detention camp. For my upwardly mobile Latinos, my white passing Latinos, my Latinos that have been born in America and don't really have a deep connection with their Latin roots. Even with that, how is any of this okay with you? For my Latinos that came over here the right way, first of all, like I said earlier, I don't care who you are, and this might sound ignorant. If y'all go back a couple generations, many of y'all lineages started with somebody coming over here illegally or undocumented. So I'm just not understanding how now you got two nickels to rub together and you find yourself capable of holding your nose up at undocumented. Your grandma was undocumented. And if it wasn't for your grandmother and your grandfather coming over here, your great-grandmother and your great-grandfather taking a risk, risking it all, and coming over here, starting a life, birthing your parents or your parents' parents that subsequently birthed you, then you wouldn't even have the great life that you have. So how dare you? How dare y'all want to break off and separate yourselves from illegally versus non-illegally when majority of y'all lineages in this country started out illegally? Y'all really did inherit some of the nastiest sides of the white majority when y'all attempted to assimilate. And that was, you cut ties with family and you're just able to dismiss and cut people off. For the life of me, I do not understand how you could be Cuban or anything of the sort and have any type of issue with anybody coming over here illegally when the entire fabric of y'all whole community is illegals. When y'all go get y'all cafecito, somebody in there is illegal making it. When you go down to Little Havana and get your cigars, somebody is in there illegal. When you go over to the Quinceañera, half the people in the damn room are illegal. Or came over here on a boat, or came over here on some type of asylum program or something. So how dare you now hold up your nose and feel a way about illegals? And it's weird because it's almost as if y'all feel like if y'all adopt the ways of white people that y'all will somehow be rewarded. And you fucked around and found out. And they just showed, they said, thank you for your services, but we no longer need you. Used y'all for a vote and now are corralling. And I am sorry, if you are a person of Hispanic descent, an American, and you don't find any compassion for your compadres with what's going on, you're a soulless person, and white people really did do a number on you. They won. They really did a number on you. So something else that I want to address. I was at CNS Oyster House. I was at CNS a couple weeks ago, and there were 3 white ladies talking. Me and my friend were sitting a couple seats down, and I overheard one of the ladies say, she said something along the lines of, I really don't mind illegals or really don't care. I just feel like they should be paying taxes. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like they should be paying taxes. And when I said earlier at the top of this, maybe the Latino community just doesn't understand what veiled racism looks like. Let me break this down. That whole tax excuse or that whole, I don't mind them coming, just come the right way. Y'all don't process the veiled racism in that. Here is why it's veiled racism. If I'm Susie Heineman living in Buckhead, Atlanta, whether one person illegally comes in the country and doesn't pay the taxes or pays taxes or doesn't pay taxes, or whether 200,000 come in and pay taxes and don't pay taxes, it does not affect you one bit. Doesn't affect you one bit. Doesn't affect you. Oh, the illegals come over here and they get all the Medicaid and they get all the programs. They get all the programs. If the government got on CNN right now and said they found the extra $2 trillion, your life does not change at all. If the government got on and said, we lost $2 trillion, your daily life does not change at all. He's riled up all these people. How has your life changed? You're not impacted by it at all. Maybe on a very, 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 very small micro level. So all of this, they should just pay taxes. Here's another thing I want to say about people who carry that opinion. You can't have it both ways, guys. You can't want to come over here and pay these people bottom of the barrel wages, okay? 3 times less than what an American would do the job for, and then complain about them not paying taxes, right? And even that's fucked up because most of them do pay taxes and are unable to pull anything out of the system that they pay tax into, okay? Many of them get fake Social Security numbers and all of that, and they pay taxes and stuff through that fake Social Security number. The government is just collecting, and they're never able to get anything in return, okay? The few or the handful that are here that are not paying taxes, well, why are they not paying taxes? Why are they not paying taxes? Why are they able to work and not pay taxes? Because Mr. White Man somewhere who owns the corporation or owns the company is paying them under the table. They're all right with you as long as they benefit from you. And y'all white folks are all right with them being here just as long as you benefit. You want to vote for Trump. You want to be against illegals, but you want to be against those illegals, not the ones that work for you at your roofing company. And you also want to take your family to Acapulco at the end of the year. So you're going to go to Home Depot and find as many illegals as you can and pay them under the table so you can pay them bottom of the barrel wages, not have to give them health care, and not have to pay any type of employment insurance or Social Security and all that different stuff on these people. You want to benefit from them, but you don't want them here at the same time. Make it make sense. And going back to the Latino community, y'all ass was too stupid, dumb, blind, and deaf to see it. Too stupid, deaf, dumb, and blind to see it. The last thing that I want to leave with is Black people, I don't ever want to hear any of us use the phrase, Black people can't stick together. Y'all ain't allowed to use that no more. Because in our community, we say that a lot when we compare ourselves to other communities that are oftentimes thriving economically. And we think that we are the only community that, carries a lot of trauma, which prevents us from sticking together. I am looking you dead square in your face and telling you, baby, y'all got to stop saying that. because the Hispanic community is way more fucked up than we are. They are way more fucked up than we are, okay? They can't see the way the dominant culture views their ass as a whole. That's messed up. The way that they've buddied up to whiteness so much to the point where they're willing to even turn on the others, that's messed up. The fact that many of them are the vestiges and products of people illegal, but yet they want to close the door for other people to create the same family legacies that they've created, that is messed up. I don't want to hear nothing else about black people can't stick together. In closing, to my Latino community, again, I know it's going to be hard for a lot of you guys to process. You've gone your whole lives hearing things about black people or being taught it's better to stay away from them and get over here with these good folks. But do you guys now see that our fight's the same? And we've been trying to tell y'all. We have been trying to tell y'all for the longest, and y'all did not want to listen. Some, not all. Y'all want to marry white people, and y'all want all. And listen, who wouldn't want to be white? Who wouldn't want all the card-carrying privileges of being white? I get it. I get it. Okay? I get it. And if you can have an easier life, most people are going to go for having an easier life. Yes. Honey, breed that Cuban out. Breed that Guatemalan out. Get you a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man and have you some white kids and have an easier life. Like, psychologically, I get it. But I just think in the midst of doing that and being in their presence, you just forgot your rightful place in this country, or the place that they want to put you in. And this is what happened. And the sad part about it is, I'm not even convinced that y'all wouldn't do it again. And there are a lot of y'all right now, at this point, if you don't see the error of your ways, and if you can't even verbalize, I made a mistake, it's simply because your ego won't allow you to tell yourself that you were wrong, or you're blinded by the comforts that you have, by the proximity that you have to whiteness, and you're unwilling to be honest about that. To say, yeah, I don't want to blow up the spot too bad because I got it good over here. Sorry, other Latinos. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but I got it real good over here. And I don't want to mess shit up. And that's valid for some people. I get it. But at least be man or woman enough to say that and not gaslight the rest of us. Because you got us out here feeling crazy that you don't see this for what it is. And last but not least, if you don't have any level of reflection, regret, or anything about this situation, it's just because you're soulless and you're evil. That's the only way I could sum it up. You're soulless and you're evil. Anywho, this has gotten lengthy. Latino community, my thoughts and prayers are with you guys. And I just really hope that as a community, y'all do the work to realize to realize that you were tricked, you were sold the dream. You're not white. You're never going to have the power that they have. You're never going to have the privilege. You're never going to have the acceptance. You'll have the illusion of it, but no. And in realizing that your plight and our plight is the same plight, so you got a choice to make. You can keep buddying up. Keep buddying up with the guy that tricked you, the group of people that tricked you. Or you can shed some of that anti-blackness and come on over here and let's discuss how we can team build and coalesce and coalition build and, push for legislation and policymakers who look out for the interest of people who look like you and I. With that being said, I'm going to get off the line. I'll call y'all later. Bye.